Hey, good morning, Star Wars fans, or should I say bright suns, as we're getting ready to go to Galaxy's Edge right now. Wanted to mention a couple of things before today's episode, which I think is a really fun conversation on why different Star Wars villains. It's a lot of fun. First thing is, if you're not a part of our Facebook discussion group, we'd love for you to jump on over there, join that group, and be a part of the conversation over there. It's really easy to find. Facebook.com/groups/Tattooing Sons. You can look that up and be a part of that conversation. Last thing, if this show has meant anything to you, if it's helped you, enjoy your Star Wars a little bit differently or think about it a little bit differently, we would love for you to help pay that forward by checking out a page where you can learn how you can help children and bring them hope. It's tattooingsons.com/hope. Check it out. Watch our video there and be a part of making the world just a little bit better place. All right, here's the show. This week's poll, we did a little Twitter thing. We do a poll on Twitter every week where we let people talk.
Yeah.
And since we're getting ready to talk about villains this new season,
Yeah,
with it, and Darth Vader and Maul and Sidious and some others, I wanted to find out what people thought was the best villain.
Yeah.
the best.
There's only one
worst
right
guy.
answer to this. And if you don't agree with me, then you're not a true
Darth
Star
Jar Jar,
What?
right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's Anyway. We asked who's the most evil Star Wars villain. We had Vader, Sidious, Maul, and other comment below. Any surprises?
Yeah, that other comment below was higher than Darth Maul.
That's true. He was, wasn't it?
I think that's a first, like that one of the main characters. Like the other comment below is higher than one of the main choices.
I don't know. I think we've had it, but it's definitely in this case a surprise.
Yeah.
For it. So Maul got 5.6%. Other comment below got 6%, and then Darth Vader. This one shocks me. I don't understand this. Vader only got 11.2%.
I don't get that either.
Me either.
But
He's Darth Vader, people.
someone's adamant.
I mean, why are we even debating that?
Yeah, but who's got
You're
Darth
allowed
Vader
your
under?
opinion, but you are allowed to be wrong.
But who's got Darth Vader under his thumb?
I get it, but Darth Vader is Darth Vader.
Yeah, you got a point. I'm just kind of trying to play like devil's advocate.
Somebody's going to make an argument for Vader here that I think is.
I mean, if you think about it, you think of a Star Wars villain, the first thing that comes to mind is Darth Vader.
It should be.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Honestly, if you
voice.
think Star Wars, the first thing that comes to your mind
Is
is
his
either
helmet.
Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion. So anyway, I'm shocked by that.
This is madness.
It's cool. I put the choices out there, and you guys voted, and so I'm in the minority here, but that's okay. Darth Sidious got 77.3% runaway winner, and I'm just really shocked after the Rise of Skywalker sort of backlash that's happened that people voted as high as they did for that. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. All right, what we want to hear what you guys had to think. So you guys
Yes.
commented, so go for it.
So this is from Emperor Stone at Mikey1MFS. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll leave that
Yeah,
one. There. Don't try to. Let's not try to figure that one out.
No.
Okay.
Tarkin. Vader changed because the Jedi were corrupt and for love. Maul
And he's
was
right, by the way, about Vader. That's exactly.
Just let him finish his point.
He's
all
starting
right?
off really well. Okay, I'm sorry.
Tarkin. Vader changed because the Jedi were corrupt and for love. Maul was taken as a child and tortured, trained, and programmed to kill. Sidious was a political manipulator who orchestrated in the deaths of many, specifically 10,000 Jedi. Tarkin, on a whim, killed billions.
That's a really good point.
He's got a point.
That's
He's like, yeah, let's blow it up just to make a point at this point. Yeah.
he's a baddie. He wasn't on the list of bad guys for this series until this. So thank you, Emperor Stone.
You're giving us content.
That was a powerful argument for Tarkin, and Tarkin will definitely get on the list as a result of that. So
Yeah. Next one's from Sean Wars at Sean Wars. SHAUN.
There you go.
Yeah, there's many ways to spell
Not
Sean, so I just want to
Sean.
clear that. Yeah, I don't get that spelling. That doesn't look
Which
like
one?
Sean.
SCAN.
scene.
It looks like scene, but it's spelled
Sean.
Sean.
Well,
or
that's
it's
not what
pronounced
this
Sean.
is.
I know. That's why I'm clearing things up.
Okay.
He said, I voted studious, but I'm pretty sure that's an autocorrect thing. I think he meant Sidious. But we all got you. He said, but I think the galaxy would vote Vader. The most stories people heard were about Vader. He terrified both rebels and Imperials. People just felt uncomfortable around the Emperor.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. You read like the Target Vader comic series or
Dark Visions.
the Vader's Dark Visions comic series, and there's like people talking about the stories of Vader or like these legends of Vader, and there's these myths about this dark figure. The Emperor is just kind of like, yeah, he's the dude who's kind of ruling the galaxy. He's kind of weird, but I think he's fine. Vader, though, people are genuinely terrified. Like they know of him, or they know myths about him.
I mean,
and they're scared.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the new artwork for the Dark Legends book, and Vader's in it. So we're gonna hear some legends about Darth Vader.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Grim Reaper of Star Wars if you look at him.
Yeah, and it's very similar to what you're describing here and what Sean Wars on Twitter suggested on here is the way that we viewed the Emperor really throughout the original trilogy as kids growing up, because he's talked about in Star Wars, in A New Hope. We don't really see him. We don't hear. I mean, we don't see him, and we don't hear from him, and he's just mentioned a couple of times with it. We see the hologram version of him in the Empire Strikes Back,
right?
And so we're curious about him, but Vader's still the bad guy,
right?
In that, we don't really get to experience the Emperor until the very well. I mean, we see him throughout Return of the Jedi, but he doesn't seem like this terrifying. He just seems like this shrivelly old man with it. That and then at the end he shoots lightning out of his hands.
Yeah,
I mean that's who he is. So Vader is the bad guy of the original trilogy, and so it's a hard leap for me to make the Emperor a greater bad guy.
And then, I mean, he even explained it in an in-universe explanation, which kind of helps solidify that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we got a comment from our buddy Neil, Mr. Positivity, Neil Positivity for All, at Lowry Neil. If you are not following Neil Lowry on Twitter,
you need to.
Then you're not doing Twitter right.
I like this guy.
He's like a gem. Thank you so much, Neil. His biggest villain in Star Wars was another comment below.
Okay.
Yeah. It was negative and hateful fans. So.
Fans and quotes.
Air quotes, yeah.
Fans.
Exactly. I appreciate that, Neil. That's pretty awesome.
It's a good point.
On that. All right. While we're talking about it, let's do this. Who's based on these three at least? Who's the most evil Star Wars villain? I think you guys know where I stand on this, but where do you guys stand?
I've always been a fan of villains who are less about like physical strength and power and are more about like cunning and
so
wit.
Basically you're going to contradict me in front of everybody.
Yes, I am. But
I want to go home and rethink my life.
You've made an environment where this is okay.
So we're able to contradict Dad as much as we want.
Only on this show. Only respect,
right now. But I like characters like Moriarty or Thrawn and things, and the Emperor is very much along those lines. He had this plan, this decades-long plan that began since he was a senator on Naboo, all the way to where he died and came back and ruled the galaxy again. Like he's ruled the galaxy twice at this point because of his planning and his manipulation of people. That's why I think he's such an interesting villain. Vader, don't get me wrong, crazy, messed up, evil, cool villain. But the Emperor still controls Vader, though, in a way.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. BB Nate?
So I'll go with Maul because he's pretty important. I mean, he is evil. I mean, he goes and he's an apprentice at the Emperor and he dies, air quotes, and then he comes back and he's just insane and is out for revenge. And then he comes this cunning, brilliant manipulator and fully goes to what we can see and what we think of when we think of the dark side. And then he fights all of these Jedi. He fights Ahsoka, and he puts up a fight against all these really good Jedi.
And he survives.
Yeah.
Against
Again.
really just about everybody.
Yes, and then we see that if he wasn't tampered down by his hatred for Obi-Wan, he could have been an amazing Sith.
Yeah, that's really his one weakness, is his lust for revenge against Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he keeps going back for Kenobi.
Hello there.
Instead of continuing to amass power and strength and his own empire, basically. I mean, he was running Shadow Collective. He's running the Crimson Dawn. We really just don't have the story between that, though. Maybe we'll get that in that book.
There we go. I want to understand how a dude who can't walk creates an entire spider body.
And survives simply out of hatred.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And the explanation
That's pretty bad, Nate.
And I mean, the explanation is that his organs are in a different place.
He's a different species.
I mean,
this is Star Wars, all right? There's
George
light.
Lucas could do what he wants, right? All right, he's George Lucas. I'm going to save Vader for the